Hello, so for this week, we're going to be doing a grand tour of my dollhouse because not a whole lot has changed, but I feel like a few things have changed and I kind of wanted to show them to you all. And also, as well, to new subscribers who have not seen the other dollhouse tour videos and, you know, would just be interested. So yeah, let's get started. So sorry for the shaky camera angle because I cannot get a tripod high enough to look up here, but here's where like a lot of the storage is. So that white container is like hair stuff and cleaning stuff, then shoes and like stockings and stuff like that, then all the like main clothes is in that blue bin. Pajamas are here, and there's just other random stuff and also furniture that I just could not fit in the house for some reason. I've wanted that chair that's up there. It's a homemade chair. I wanted that up in the living room for so long, but I think I ran out of space and I have nowhere to put it, so I'm a little sad about that, but it is what it is. So the first room I'll be showing you is Michelle's room. So before I got a dollhouse, I'm not sure if any of you remember or were there to see it, but like I used to have like these sets for stop motion. These sets would be made out of like poster board and Velcro, and I would just put it up on like a card table and then disassemble it when I was done. So as a result, like all the rooms are basically of that design. They have Velcro and are made out of poster board. So basically, if I wanted to take out a wall, I could very easily do that. So when I used to have just sets, I think I only had like maybe 3 rooms. So Michelle's room was the one I did like right before I got the dollhouse. Sorry for the interference of the ring light. I promise this is about as much back as I can get it. Here is the dresser, and this dresser was from Michael's and I painted it like a forest green color. Might not show quite as vibrant on camera, but it's really nice. The only problem though is I think I painted the inside of the drawers when I wasn't supposed to do that, so now the drawers just kind of stick. So then on top of the dresser is like craft supplies, little daisies, which I like because it matches the wall very well, and also coffee, because Michelle's siblings take the literal life out of her, so she needs coffee just to survive. So here on this wall is a family portrait, because even though her family takes all of her energy out of her, she still loves them very much. So this picture though is very outdated. I believe this was Christmas of like 3 years ago. I think a new one should be put up at some point. I'm gonna be honest though, I'm just way too lazy to do that. For now, she just has a very outdated picture on her wall, and then right above that is a YouTube play button that I made. Her walls have like a variety of other pictures. This particular painting was one I did myself, just for some color. To the right of that was like a postcard I got from, I think it was like Poster Invasion. They had like postcards you could buy, and I thought this looked nice in the room. Here is also another Poster Invasion poster. A little thing on the ceiling. I forgot what you call these, but yeah, I made that myself out of some random beads I found. And then an M with some also very outdated pictures. Here we kind of have her shelf with just a bunch of like random stuff, including the homemade doll I made for her, some books, and I think at the very bottom is like other books, and also a box. Do not ask what's in the box, it is none of your business. So what you're also gonna see with the other rooms is a lot of them have like string lights to add as extra lighting, but for some reason this room does not. I have yet to get actual string lights for this room, so the best I could do was like use lights from an old Christmas tree and put them on this shelf for at least something. So this wall also has a bit of the same stuff, just posters and pictures and paintings. To the very left is a very outdated 5 Hens and a Cocktail calendar. As well, on the wall there's these plastic glow-in-the-dark stars that I just happen to have extra of. So here is her bed. Majority of the sheets are stuff that was like handmade from relatives. The pillows I sewed myself, And then on the bed itself is her teddy bear. This is Jeff. I just decided the whole thing with her talking to teddy bear is now new doll lore. So that's why the bear's there. The bed was a bed that my aunt constructed me for Olivia, but then I just refitted it for Michelle instead. And then lastly, we have this rug that I just sewed together impulsively just one day because I felt like it. So here we have the boys' room, which other than the string lights, this is actually one of my favorite rooms. So these are nice string lights, but I just barely got them lit well enough so I could actually make this video. I've struggled with these lights for so long. They worked, but then for some reason they just stopped working one day. Yeah, it was kind of a miracle they're working for this video. So starting with the bed is like an American Girl box that I have just a bunch of sheets on. The big red sheet, I have no idea where that's from, but I think it was supposed to be for like an actual bed, but I just like folded it so it could fit an American Girl doll. The big pink pillow at the very bottom, I think it came with the bunk bed that Caroline and Charlie have, which you'll see later in this video, but because I ended up going a little crazy sewing pillows for all the beds, I ended up just using their old pillow for the boys' room. And then on top is, you can't really see it from this angle, but there are like 2 green pillows that I just got from this craft store, along with this other blanket. I haven't actually put it on their bed because I did wash it, but it's still kind of gross and it kind of still needs to be fixed because there's like holes in it. But that's also there, as well as like some stuffed animals. So here we have the shelf. So this shelf, kind of like Michelle's shelf, these were all like deconstructed out of like these little mini crates from Michael's, and I just glued them all together. Unlike Michelle's in the other room, this one's not painted. Instead it just has this giant sticker that I think I got from like 6 All-Star Studios from a contest she did. Okay, I turned the shelf so you can actually see what's on it. So most of it is just random stuff I got during like childhood that I thought would look good for like a boy's bedroom. There's also the camera, and down here is like the tripod. And also back there is like the bag, and these all come from Z's collection, which work really well for this room because Austin is a filmmaker. And one thing I think is very cute, I think I got this. This is, I don't know if you can see it, but this is like a little mini shaving cream from a mini brand set, which is very nice. So here we have the Holy Grail set that I thought I would like never get. So this is the Pleasant Company Macintosh set. I'm very excited to have it because for the longest time everybody would like sell it on eBay but like completely overprice it, and I managed to actually get it for like under $100, which is so cool. And the other cool thing is I was not expecting this to work, but for some reason it does still work after all these years. So other than the Macintosh set, the desk also has like a phone and also some more just mini brand stuff. I also kind of decorated the wall with some stickers I thought would look nice here. Fun fact, not the stickers like on the wall where the computer is, but like next to it. Some of those stickers came with like a mouse I got, which was very unexpected. And I thought, wow, this would be so perfect for this room. And this wall's kind of the same thing. I believe the poster is another postcard from Poster Invasion. This wall was just a wall. It wasn't supposed to be used for this room. It was just a little piece of poster board I had that I wanted to decorate with every single piece of sticker I had on me at that time. Just because I had a lot of stickers and wanted to use them in some sort of way. So now this is just the sticker wall. And then of course I like that this room is a little different because it has like an actual window in it when a lot of the other rooms don't. Because this room is kind of in pieces linked together with Velcro. I believe this original part of the wall was originally used for like a different bedroom I had at one point, very briefly for a video, but then I ended up taking it down and using it for this new room. This room is actually, fun fact, the newest room in my dollhouse, mostly because I was somehow able to get another shelf in here and create this room. So here we have another one of my favorite rooms. This is Ginger and Kat's room. So the bunk bed was actually homemade by this individual who is a friend of my mom's. And yeah, I really like it. I like that it's like nice and plain. It kind of fits a bit better with the overall aesthetic of the room. So the pillows on both sides were stuff I made myself. I believe the top bunk and also the bottom bunk too, the covers are made from bandanas. And also, I think for the top bunk, I actually made the mattress. So here we have Humphrey just kind of chilling for a bit on the bed, as well as some of Ginger's skateboards and her rollerblades and helmet. Here we have a medal. This is, I believe, the guitar strap for the guitar that's hanging on the wall. And I don't know, I needed a place to put these pins I happen to have just so they could be displayed in the room. So I just made that. It's almost like a sort of sash too. And I believe I sewed buttons on it so it can be put on a doll. So here's the guitar. So the guitar itself I originally bought for another custom doll but ended up keeping because I just think it's very much like Cat style. However, it was kind of a very cheap dollar store type guitar and the sticker was peeling off. So one of my projects that I did over the summer was I ended up repainting the guitar. Okay, I'm a little worried I'm gonna regret doing this later because this is very hard to put up on the wall. And this guitar has been known to fall off a bunch of times, but this was kind of painted with acrylic paint and then sealed with nail polish. I put details on the actual neck of the guitar, and here is the body. I glued on some beads and then painted the beads to look like knobs. So then on the walls is just a lot of punk posters, and also here I have some mini Polaroids, which once again are very outdated, and I believe these are also like 3 years old. So here's kind of what used to be like a door. I mean, it could still be a door here, but when this set used to just be like a set and not something that was in an actual dollhouse, this originally had like a door that dolls usually would come in and out of, but I think since it's become more part of the wall, especially with like the shelf down there. So of course, the parental advisory thing I also made myself, and I believe Google Draw. And then there's just stickers and other stuff like that on the wall. So here's the shelf. The shelf has just like a bunch of different things, including the bus at the very bottom, which I believe was an ornament I got from my bus driver, as well as of course all of Ginger's weird concoctions and pets, including the cobalt blue tarantula, and I don't remember what's in that bottom cage. I think there's like a snail in there or something. And then finally on this wall we have some more posters. All the posters in this room I believe were printed and were just like regular pictures I found from like the internet. The only exception though is like the Iowa Hawkeyes thing. I don't know why, but for some reason like 5 years ago I decided to draw this. So then here is the infamous McDonald's toy that I got like 2 years ago. We were doing this trumpet outing to McDonald's at one point, and somebody had gotten this Happy Meal toy that was this bunny, and for some reason the trumpets had a silly idea to dip it in ketchup and pretend like it was bleeding and had a head wound, and then they did a funeral for it where they put it in a fry container and then tried to throw it away. But I don't like things being thrown away, so I offered to take the toy off their hands and brought it home and cleaned it of all of its ketchup, and now here it is. It's happy now. So this room is Caroline and Charlie's room. It's alright. It's not my favorites, but it's still pretty cute overall. I think this might have been like the second one I made. No, it was like the third room I made, because I remember the second one used to be the basement, if you remember that room. That room does not exist anymore. The walls of that room have been used for Will and Austin's bedroom, as shown in like some of the previous clips. Overall very girly, so I guess you can probably see which of the two dolls has taken over this room the most. The bunk beds are probably the first one I've ever gotten. They were like these ultra girly bunk beds that I think I got from Facebook Marketplace. It basically came with, I believe, 2 pillows, one large one, one small one, and then 2 mattresses for each of the bunks. It also came with a ladder, which it's gonna be really hard to try and store this in the room, so I just kind of have it under the bed, as well as just literally a bunch of other stuff, I'm gonna be honest. Just stuff I didn't have space for is just under the bed for now. So starting with the bottom bunk, this is Arlie's bed. So the blanket on top, I don't know who made it, but I think somebody made it, like somebody in my family, because I've had this for like so long. I believe it's like 15 or so years old. The pillows on top, so the small pink one was the one that came with the bunk bed, and the floral one, I believe, was one I made myself out of scrap pieces of fabric. And then across the bed are these butterflies. So they came off of like a set of cupcakes I got for like my 17th birthday, and didn't know what to do with them. And I thought they were pretty, so I basically just like cut them all up and like put them in this like rainbow colored string, just to add a little fun whimsy to the room. I don't know what they were initially used for, but I think this string was probably used for like a different room at one point, but I don't remember which room it was. Here we have a lot of Charlie's stuffed animals on the side of the bed. I think one of the core parts of her personality, she likes collecting stuffed animals and also dolls too. Over here we have Caroline's very concerning bag collection. So the red bag comes, I think it came with Molly when I first got her, and then the American Girl bag actually came from American Girl Place Chicago. So the top bunk is Caroline's bunk. So here are like Mini Kit and Mini Sage. A fun fact though, Mini Kit was like the first thing I bought with the first debit card I had, which I find very funny. And then the pillow is also something I made myself, and then of course we have a mini Dumbo keychain that's kind of cute. I got it from Joann's before they shut down. R.I.P. Joann's.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
So Caroline also has a few stuffed animals. Kind of hard to tell, but like here is a unicorn from an Our Generation pajama set, and here is like a little Squishmallow. So the room, like all the other rooms, has its own set of lights. These are like fairy lights that came from Joann's. As well as this fluffy thing, I don't know what to call it, but very fitting and also very pink. So here we have Caroline's shrine for herself because she's very self-absorbed and loves herself very much. So we have a picture of her that's actually really outdated. Now I'm looking at it because this was actually taken the very beginning of 2022. But it's a picture of herself with a crown, and a little hard to tell from this angle, but I believe there's like pink cursive that says like Fabulous a Queen Caroline on it. So here we have some Polaroids that are very old and showcase Caroline's humble beginnings. And then moving down, we have just other random stuff. I had an extra Guy Fieri poster, so I just decided to put it in here with a heart around it. Don't ask, I'm kind of weird like that. And I think a few of these posters are actually new and came from the Dreams stop motion. Here we have the makeup vanity area. The 2 bottles on top are actually real bottles that I liked because they're about doll-sized. This summer I got a keychain, and it was of I think it's supposed to be of like mocha. I took the keychain part off and also put it on the desk. The Magic 8 Ball has been kind of there forever. It's like really old. And then of course, the Diva has to have hair supplies and her phone there too. Another fun fact is that the little chest on the nightstand also is used for storage for my earrings and necklaces. But here, just a bunch of knickknacks, including a trophy that I don't know where I got it, but it's there. Some old shotguns are there too. And then too, one thing I really like is the makeshift magazines. So One comment inside joke is that Caroline reads like 17 magazines a lot, so on the top left shelf is just her collection of all the magazines she owns. So finally we have the living room slash kitchen area. I'm not gonna go like too in-depth into it because I already made a video showcasing like the finer details like I think a month ago. But of course, I somehow managed to get the 2026 5 Hands in a Cocktail calendar, and I'm very excited. Every single year after 2022, I don't know why, I would just like forget and then they would become sold out before I could buy one, even in January. But I was proactive and I got my hands on one and I'm very happy about that. Also, not a huge difference, but I did move the table a bit since like the last tour I did. So for those of you who don't know, this is the very iconic cabinet. This is gonna be 5 years old this year. I got this about April of 2021. On top is a photo, like another family photo, not quite as outdated as the one in Michelle's room, but still kind of outdated. And on top there's a snow globe, a PS5, a TV, and a remote and a Nintendo Switch. All of the electronic stuff was all made out of cardboard, and I made myself. Here on this wall, we have another window, and also there's some wall decorations too. Here we have an American flag that was kind of put up for no particular reason, just other than it was there. I think though, the wall with the American flag, and you can't entirely see, but there's also Washington DC poster down there. That actually came from the basement set when that used to exist and be a thing. I think this side of the dollhouse was originally supposed to be where the basement was, but I wanted the living room and kitchen to be bigger, so I expanded the living room and kitchen, used the walls from the basement as a combination of the living room and also Will and Austin's room in the 3rd floor, and basically just reused some of the decorations I had in the basement for the living room. So one of the reused decorations was this skateboard. So before I actually got a formal skateboard for Ginger, I just decided to make one out of cardboard. It did not go over well, I didn't like it, so I just hung it up on the wall instead. So also here is a postcard from 5 Hands in a Cocktail, pride flag, you kind of get the gist, and then another Washington DC poster. Here of course, the iconic blue couch, that's also gonna be very old this year, because I think I originally made it like in May of 2021 and it was at first a chair, but then it just kept getting bigger as the years went on. And here is the Our Generation kitchen set. So kind of like what I said in the other video I did, but I recently got the actual oven, microwave, dishwasher, and stove for the set. I used to only have just the fridge because at that time I thought I wouldn't have room for anything else, but surprisingly the setup has worked pretty well and I have more versatility with stuff I can do for stop motions, which is very exciting. Of course, like the fridge, I also decided to match it by having some more Guy Fieri posters. The fridge was decked out with Guy Fieri posters a very long time ago. Of course, here are all of the little posters I have, but just a quick rundown. The little painting that has the little palm trees, that is gonna turn 5 this year. That was in like the very first iteration of the living room set I had. And then of course these are all combinations of business cards and also postcards I've gotten from other AGTubers, like the top middle ones from Alice in Dollland, 6 Doll Star Studios, 9 Tacos Filming, and then on this side, Nixie Pixie 7. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions, comment them down below. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, see you all next video, I guess. Bye.